The third commandment, reading from Exodus 20, verse 7, is typically read like this: You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. I remember when I was younger and I first heard about the Ten Commandments, and that word vain just really struck me as being ambiguous. I didn't really know what that meant. As I got older and started to study the Bible in the different translations and versions of the Bible, scholarly people were interpreting that word a lot differently. So they were using, don't use the name of the Lord thoughtlessly or for evil purposes. So I've kind of distilled that sentiment down to this: be reverent when you speak or use the name of the Lord. Whatever that name is for you, think about the different languages in the world. Everyone has a different name. Yahweh and God are the ones that I'm the most familiar with. Use the name of the Lord reverently. Do not use it irreverently at all. There's a lot of misinterpretations of this, I feel. There's colloquialisms like the cuss word that we hear using God's name, or the exclamation, OMG. When I hear people using God's name that way, I kind of cut them a little bit of slack. When I hear people that maybe aren't necessarily educated in the faith say something like OMG, verbalizing it, or just texting those three letters, or curse words using God in them, that I really feel like they are ignorant of the power of God. And when they know God the way I know God, they're going to think twice about misusing his name because they will fear him. God that knows our thoughts and can move nations at will. Just that reverence that comes from knowing who God is helps us to not misuse his name or take it in vain. Point being, don't go out of your way to correct people. Let God come into their hearts. Pray for the person that misuses God's name. Don't do it yourself. He understands that you are missing a lot when you destroy your relationship with God. And think about it with another person, just another human being, someone in your life, or even a stranger, or someone that you're aware of in a way that you want to talk about them. If you speak about that person in a way that isn't respectful or is arrogant or is somehow contentious or angry or whatever, think about what your heart is doing when you're thinking about that person. And I think that's what God is warning us against, that when you misuse his name, that misuse is coming from the wellspring of evil that God is, quite frankly, allowed to pervade this earth. It isn't just rote obedience. That's a good enough reason, actually, when God gives you a precept, that you should just follow it unquestioningly, because he is the best father and he knows. But let's say without that, you just are in need of some guidance. Think about who God is and think about how much higher we should place him than we do people. And if you love somebody, do you really talk about them in disparaging ways or unkind ways or disrespectful ways? No, you don't, because that would destroy your relationship with them, even to varying degrees, I suppose. God understands that the warning includes punishment, and the punishment is having him withdraw his favor, and your relationship with him is damaged and harmed. That's punishment. So have faith, use God's name respectfully and reverently. Honor and praise him and worship him when you use his name. Just don't use his name in any other way. And do that with the people around you as well. Just talk kindly to them and about them and with them. If there's problems or issues, work them out in a prayerful way. Talk to them like you would be talking to God, and develop the ability to really revere creation and Creator.